Are you causing yourself more anxiety and stress every day because of this not good enough mindset? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you how to cure perfectionism, what you can do, 6 different steps and some mindsets around it too, so that you can actually get going with your life and you can take those actions that you know you need to take, but you keep struggling to do because it's just not quite ready yet. Coming up in this video. What's up, legend? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology, where I help geeks, gamers, and creatives to have more motivation and confidence. And anxiety is something that we struggle with very often. And it's something that I go through as well. But I've actually found ways of getting past it or curing it or pulling it out of me, whatever the metaphor is that you use for it. In this case, we're going to talk about curing it because perfectionism really just it slows you down, it stops the progress, it keeps you safe, and you don't actually get to live a life that is better for you because you're not actually taking the actions. And that's something that we're going to get into within this video. So first up, yeah, is there a cure for it? I don't think there's one specific thing that you can do that will just end it, but it's a series of mindsets and steps and a thought process that you can take in, you can imbibe, and then you can start to live with, so that you take more actions and you live a better life. So first of all, perfectionism. It is, when you Google define perfectionism, it comes up as a refusal to accept any standard short of perfection. And I think with that right there, you get the understanding that, okay, you are refusing to accept that it's not perfect. And that is an imperfect mindset as it is, right? Like nothing's going to be perfect. You cannot make anything perfect. There is no perfect. The fact that it is flawed in some way is perfectionism, if you want to look at it like that. And the longer that, hey birds, the longer that you're spending time, wasting time going through to make it perfect, to adjust every little bit in piece, you're wasting your life. You're wasting the chances to gain more knowledge, more information, put it into the process, into the system, get feedback and things like that. And so you are creating imperfection by hesitating, by waiting for a moment that's probably not going to come, because by the time you make it perfect, whether it's approaching to talk to somebody else and you're waiting for the perfect opportunity, and then you're like, well, they're not even here anymore. They've already left. Or if it's, working on a business plan or something like that, and you want to get everything set up perfectly, you want to define all the key terms and everything like that, and it not happening because you wasted all this time by not even doing a thing. You're just perpetuating the problem. Yeah. So one thing that you can do is to ask yourself, what part of me is afraid? For me, and I think you can agree with me on this desire for perfection is because I'm afraid of something happening. I'm afraid of being rejected. I'm afraid of it not going as well as I wanted. I'm afraid of releasing a product and people judging me based off that, like saying, "Oh, you didn't do it into completion," or whatever it is. Those are the times that I have this perfection mindset. It's not when there's no judgment from another party or myself. It's when there is judgment. So I'm afraid of something, and what part of me is afraid is really important to acknowledge and to say, okay, so this little aspect, this little character within me, this little 3-year-old version of Matt Sherman here, he's afraid. He's afraid that he's going to mess up and then not be loved, not be accepted, that he's not going to show his true identity within the process. And just that clarity around that usually lets me create more self-compassion and say, okay, that I need to take care of this one. I need to take care of this little aspect of myself. And how I take care of it is by doing something, by taking an action instead of just surrounding it with a bubble or pillows or something like that and protecting it in that sense. It's like, hey, get out there and do something so that you can learn, so that you can grow. So find what part of you is afraid and why is it afraid? And realize that it's not going to be that bad. Whatever it is, you'll get past it. So another one, number 3, what might I gain by acting now? There's the speed of implementation that Eben Pagan talks about, and it's something that's really resonated with me. The more that I hesitate and miss opportunities, and the more that I just take an action and just do the thing, just charge in there, thunderclap, get everything excited, like just start making progress, start taking steps, start making moves. I gain a lot within my life. And so what do you gain when this thing that you're trying to figure out, that you're trying to make perfect? If you were to act right now, what would you gain by it? What would be the benefits? Is it your environment? Are you creating a better life for yourself within the circumstance around you, having better relationships? Is it that you're taking actions or gaining new skills that could help you out in your life? What if you gained a better mindset? What if you had new beliefs around yourself? I'm somebody who takes actions, who lives a life that I want to live, who doesn't hesitate because I'm afraid or nervous. Who maybe you have the identity then that you're a confident person, you're a hero, you're an adventurer, you're an explorer, you're somebody who takes control of their life. Isn't that way better than I wait? I need things to be perfect. There's always going to be some sort of flaw within the whole process. Right? So what do you gain by taking actions? Maybe you could open up a new thread within your life that leads to you marrying the person of your dreams, that leads to you being more fit, being healthier, having more money. There's a lot of things that you can gain by acting, by taking steps, by doing things. Also, what are you missing by hesitating? What chances are going untaken by you waiting? By you sitting there, by you thinking again and again about how to make it perfect, and then you actually release the thing out into the world, and there were so many different flaws with it that you didn't see them because you're looped in one mindset of just, I'm going to make it perfect within here without getting new feedback from the outer world. Are you going to regret something in your life? Regret for me is a big motivator. I don't want to regret not living a life that I wanted, and looking back on it and saying, well, I didn't do all these things that I really wanted to do. Are you missing out on a relationship? Are you missing out on gaining new skills, learning new things? All those books that you have that you haven't read because you're trying to perfect something else. There's a lot to say about the 80-20 Pareto principle, or 20-80, right? About just finding the most impactful, the most leverageable stuff, and then acting on that and using that, because that's going to give you so many powerful, impactful results. So actually taking those steps, doing those things. And by hesitating, you're missing out on that. You don't know what it is. Another one, it's all about XP. It's all about experience. Like, you rarely get rewarded in a game for doing the thing perfectly. In some games, Dance Dance Revolution or something like that back in the day, there's that. But for an RPG, usually it's like you do stuff and you get experience for taking on challenges, for struggling, for trying to do things, even if you fail. It's about being in the process of learning more about yourself and the environment and the obstacles, the monsters, and those kind of things. How to swing the sword. Each time you swing it, right, you're gaining a little bit of XP. So think about it like that. Like you gain more experience, which helps you level up by actually taking actions, even if they're not perfect, and dealing with that complicated failure, failing forward, learning more and more through it. That's how all the good stories go too. That's how your life goes too. I mean, if you just waited for everything to be perfect, you would never leave your bed and your life would be so imperfect and wasted. So for you, what's the first step? What are you going to do with this thing that you've been thinking about? Or the next time that you are stuck in a perfectionism loop and you're overthinking all this stuff? You think about what's the first step? Like what is the simplest thing that even a baby could attempt? Just make it so simple that you're just taking an action. You're just doing the one little thing, and maybe you could do that perfectly in some way. It still wouldn't be perfect, but you could take that first step and it would be okay. Like if I'm afraid of cooking, I cooked pancakes before. I somehow just completely butchered it. It was awful. And if I was afraid of that happening again, and I was like, okay, I have this like anxiety or a little bit of perfectionism, I want to make it right. What's the first step? The first step is just taking out the pancake mix or buttering the pan. I really don't know how to make pancakes, but it just make it that simple that you're just doing one little thing that you can do. And each of those little steps will eventually kind of get you closer to that goal and get you accomplishing the things that you want to do. All right. If you're interested in more kind of gamified growth mindsets and things like that, you can check it out in the corner over there. That's the corner. And you subscribe, do all that stuff, do all the good stuff down below, and give this to people who you think it would help. And keep up the lifelong questing. Love you. Good luck. Have fun. Peace.